It would be a dark, frozen hellscape. Between these two extremes, the burning day and the frozen night, violent weather systems would form. Hot air from the sun side would rush toward the cold side, creating a permanent, chaotic storm front that circles the globe. And then, the final nail in the coffin. The invisible shield goes down. Our magnetic field, which protects us from solar radiation, is generated by the dynamo effect of the Earth's rotating liquid iron core. No rotation means no dynamo. No dynamo means the magnetic field collapses. Without that shield, the Earth is naked against the cosmos. Solar winds and cosmic rays would bombard the surface, shredding the DNA of any living thing that managed to survive the floods and the firestorms. Over time, this solar wind would strip away the atmosphere entirely, just like it did to Mars billions of years ago. So, could anything survive? Maybe. The only habitable zone would be the twilight zone, the thin ribbon of land between the boiling day side and the freezing night side, where the sun sits forever on the horizon. But this wouldn't be a paradise. You would have to be a nomad, constantly chasing the twilight as the Earth orbits the sun, all while battling hurricane-force winds and lethal radiation. The only true survivors would be deep underground. Microbes living in the crust, or creatures huddled around hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the deep oceans, might not even notice the apocalypse above. They would continue on in the dark, the new masters of a dead world. Now, take a deep breath, because here is the good news. This is just a thought experiment. The Earth has an incredible amount of momentum, built up over 4.5 billion years. It is not going to stop. In fact, while the Earth is technically slowing down due to the tidal pull of the moon, the process is agonizingly slow. Our days get longer by about 1.8 milliseconds every century. A sudden halt is physically impossible, but this terrifying scenario serves as a reminder. We often take our planet for granted. We walk around oblivious to the massive forces that govern our lives. That simple, unfelt spin is the silent architect of our existence. It gives us our days, it shapes our oceans, it drives our weather, and it shields us from the void. It is the hidden engine that makes Earth a home, rather than a graveyard. So the next time you watch a sunset, remember, you are watching the world spin, and be very, very glad that it does. Which part of this global catastrophe would be the most terrifying to witness? The supersonic winds or the 6-month night? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to keep exploring the most dangerous what-ifs in the universe, hit that subscribe button right now. We are just getting started. Look at the compass app on your phone. Right now it points north. You trust it. Ships in the middle of the Pacific Ocean trust it. Pilots landing 747s in dense fog trust it. We take north for granted. It is the fundamental constant of navigation, the invisible anchor that organizes our entire world. But here is the unsettling truth. North is not a fixed point. It is a lie, or at least a temporary agreement. Right now, deep beneath your feet, about 800 miles down, the mechanism that creates north is breaking. The magnetic North Pole is actually on the run. It is racing across the Arctic Ocean towards Siberia at a speed of over 30 miles per year. That might not sound fast to you, but in geological terms, that is a sprint. It is moving so fast that the models we use to navigate the planet literally cannot keep up, and it gets worse. While the pole is sprinting away, the invisible force field that protects us from the sun is dying. Slowly, quietly, it is fading. In just the last 2 centuries, the global strength of our magnetic shield has dropped by about 9%. And in some places, it's failing much faster. This sounds like the opening scene of a disaster movie. We've all seen the headlines. The end of the world, the apocalypse. But I'm not here to sell you fear. I'm here to tell you something much more interesting. I want to tell you the story of what actually happens when the planet flips upside down, because it has happened before, hundreds of times. And the evidence suggests we might be overdue for the next one. To understand why this matters, you have to understand what is actually happening inside the Earth. We tend to think of our planet as a solid rock, but that is really just the thin skin on top of a very violent apple. Deep inside, there is an outer core made of liquid iron and nickel. Imagine an ocean of molten metal, hotter than the surface of the sun, churning and swirling in a chaotic storm that never ends. As the Earth spins, this metal ocean moves. And because it's metal and it's moving, it generates electricity. And that electricity creates a magnetic field. It is a geodynamo, a massive self-sustaining engine that has been running for billions of years. This engine projects a bubble of magnetic energy out into space, surrounding our planet like a suit of armor. This is the magnetosphere. And without it, you and I would not be here. Space is not empty. It is filled with a violent wind screaming off the sun, a stream of charged particles moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. This is the solar wind. If the Earth didn't have a magnetic shield, this solar hurricane would strip away our atmosphere. It would boil our oceans. It would scour the surface of our world until it looked exactly like Mars, a dead red desert. But the shield holds. It deflects that radiation, funneling it harmlessly toward the poles, creating those beautiful auroras, the northern lights. Those lights are actually the visual proof of a battle. It is the sight of our shield taking a hit, so you don't have to. But here is the catch. The engine in the core, that ocean of liquid metal, is not stable. It is chaotic. It's like a lava lamp the size of a moon. Sometimes the flow changes. The turbulence shifts. And when that happens, the magnetic field begins to wobble. It weakens, and sometimes it collapses entirely and rebuilds itself in reverse. How do we know this? We didn't have scientists taking notes 80 million years ago. But the Earth kept a diary. The evidence is written in stone, literally. When a volcano erupts and spits out lava, that molten rock contains tiny minerals, specifically magnetite. Think of these minerals as microscopic compass needles. When the lava is hot and liquid, these tiny needles are free to spin. They align themselves perfectly with the magnetic field of that exact moment. But as the lava cools and hardens into solid rock, those needles get frozen in place. They are locked in time forever. A permanent snapshot of North from millions of years ago. Geologists can walk up to a cliff face, drill out a core of rock, and analyze these tiny needles. And what they found was shocking. In one layer of rock, the needles point north. In the layer right on top of it, they point south. Then north again, then south. This was the smoking gun. It proved that the Earth's magnetic polarity flips back and forth like a cosmic light switch. But the most undeniable proof is at the bottom of the ocean. At the mid-ocean ridges, the Earth is constantly ripping apart and creating new crust. As this new floor spreads out, it records the magnetic field like a giant tape recorder. If you look at a map of the magnetic polarity of the seafloor, it looks like a barcode. Perfect, symmetrical stripes of north and south stretching across the entire planet. By reading this barcode, we know that in the last 83 million years, the Earth has flipped its polarity at least 183 times. On average, that is once every 450,000 years. And here is where the math gets uncomfortable. The last full reversal happened 780,000 years ago. If you look at the average, we are way past the expiration date. We are living on borrowed time, and the Earth is starting to show the symptoms of a change. I mentioned the North Pole is sprinting toward Siberia. That's symptom number 1. But symptom number 2 is much scarier. There is a massive dent in the Earth's magnetic shield right now. It's called the South Atlantic Anomaly. It stretches from Brazil all the way across the ocean to Africa. In this region, the magnetic field is drastically weaker than the rest of the planet. It's like a pothole in our armor. And we are already paying the price. When satellites pass through this anomaly, they aren't protected. They get hammered by high doses of cosmic radiation. The Hubble Space Telescope literally has to shut down its sensitive instruments when it flies over Brazil, just to avoid being fried. The International Space Station has to have extra shielding in its crew quarters because of this specific weak spot.